All right. You are a slave. I'll explain what I mean by that. So, today I actually want to talk about education because I think education is one of the most outdated and flawed things that are going on in the world today that people just don't understand. And I'll explain what I mean by education. Okay? I'm not saying, let me make this clear. Education is a great thing. School sucks. It's important to be educated, it's important to learn, but school is probably one of the most inefficient ways of achieving education. And I'll explain what I mean by that. Okay, so first, I think I need to preface this by explaining how the world has changed, because people don't really understand this, exactly how the world has changed. Right, real briefly, we've gone through a lot of eras over the past millennia, right? You had the I always forgot the Archean era. Okay, I forget what it's called. Basically the era where there's farmers and peasants and kings. It's like if you're a farmer and you're a peasant, that's it. You are working land. Hopefully somebody gave to you. And then you have to pay a tax to the king. There's never any way to actually ever get ahead in that type of a system. And then things started to open up. Obviously as people started to come to America at the time, and be able to start kind of forging their own path. Moving away from the monarchy, which controlled everything. Again, real quick background. The thing I want to focus on, though, is once the industrial age started. And the industrial age started, obviously, in horrible conditions, because this was the first time that business became global. Or even business expanded outside of your immediate town or city that you were in. It used to be that there was if you were a butcher in a town, you were a butcher for that town. You were not killing cows and shipping them all over the country or all over the world. That just wasn't the reality. When the industrial age hit and transportation became more efficient, communication started to become more efficient. When I say communication was efficient, I'm talking about like the telegram here. Which was a big deal, that you could actually communicate to someone who was not, sitting next to you. So, what ended up happening in terms of like actually producing goods, right? You no longer needed to be someone who, let's say to make meat, was running a store. You would have a production line. Or you're making a widget or whatever product they were making, they had a production line. So people moved from, at the time, they were working in apprenticeships, to become a baker, to become a blacksmith, these types of professions. And then they would grow to the point where they would master the profession, but they would also master the business of that profession. And then the industrial age hits, and you take these people and you put them on an assembly line where, instead of them working in some type of dynamic way throughout their day and also working with people, because you have to learn how to sell to customers, you have them doing exactly the same thing every single day for 8 hours, like every moment for 8 hours, right? This widget, this whatever place I am on the assembly line. So that kind of moved into, obviously, like people fought against these types of horrific conditions, because the profit incentive, obviously was to how do we just keep this line moving as efficiently as possible. Which is still kind of this old kind of monarchy. The top controls the goods and the work and the business, etc. So what ended up happening though is that this started to transition as companies started to get bigger, and you started to need to have more systems in your business and more structure in your business, and you have now departments. People started moving into what they call corporate jobs, right? And this is a very interesting beast. Like, this is the first time you ever had to create something called human resources, HR, which I think, and I've told the HR who work in our company that I just think that it is horrifically named and kind of insulting. But the school system was designed for this type of work, right? It was designed for this type of work that you're going to go to K through 12, and you go to college, you're going to get a degree, and then you'll get hired by a big company, and that's it. Then you're set for life. You're set for life. And that's where the whole idea that like everyone needs college came from, right? It's like if you want to get out of the salt mines, that was the way to do it. You go to college. That was the way to do it. And that was the right path until the industrial age ended. And I don't think people realized that the industrial age has ended. And it ended about 20 years ago. It started in the mid-90s, kind of really shifted over the course of the next 10 years to the mid-2000s. But it finished. It's done. And people, and you see the impact of it now in terms of massive corporations that were around for decades, just gone. Kmart, Kodak. I'm reading the biography of Sam Walton right now. Walmart is struggling, right, because of Amazon, right? And the one piece of irony there is that Jeff Bezos has all the executives at Amazon read Sam Walton's biographies so they understand how they're supposed to build their business. And now they're killing Walmart, right? That's one of the biggest ironies that's going on. But you have these huge corporations, and they're just struggling. Why? The great leveler in all of this has been the internet. The internet is actually allowing people to go back almost to the kind of previous way that people would work, which was that you're going to learn a profession, and then you're going to go out and actually sell your profession to people who need it. And then you're going to work in that type of field. And again, not that there's not room to build, very profitable, lucrative businesses. That there is that, and that's, I think, part of the point. It used to be to build a big, lucrative business, you needed millions and millions of dollars. Nowadays, you can literally get started for a couple $100 in Facebook ads. You're in front of customers, and you can start, selling them. It's the internet has been the great leveler. So, all that being said, right, now look at the other side of it, okay? I think college is honestly one of the biggest, most successful scams ever. Okay, and again, I would say up until the mid-90s, okay, it was a good thing because it was a good thing to have, on your resume, basically. It was a good thing to have on your resume. But then things started to shift. And I'll tell you personally, if I got a guy who's got a college degree versus a guy who has experience or can prove to me that he can do whatever it is I need done, I'm going with the second guy. I'm going with the guy who can get me the result that I need. Okay? So, and you look at college graduates today, people are going into college, they're following the same line. They're getting into hundreds of thousands of dollars in debt. And then not being able to get a job. Okay, it's in terms of the ROI you have, unless it's something that absolutely requires it, like a doctor. Okay, I want my doctor to have gone to school and have been supervised. I want the civil engineer who builds a bridge that I'm going to drive on. I want him to have been certified. Okay, but someone who works in marketing, somebody who works in accounting, somebody who works, even an engineer who's going to engineer a product, right? I don't need him to have had a college degree, right? If he's like, you can literally teach yourself these things, make something, show me that you can do the work, and that's it. You're hired. You're hired. Much more so than someone who's going to have gone to a fancy school for 3-4 years. And also the biggest irony, kind of the mindset shift you have to think about is that, you have people out there Like, one of the things that happens when you become very successful in business is you actually want to start sharing what you know. Okay, and the biggest irony generally is that people go out and want to start sharing what they know, and people are like, "It's a scam. You don't know what you're talking about. You're just trying to take my money, right?" And let's say in internet marketing, for example, there's definitely been the share of people who have scam people. But you have people who actually built actual businesses. They don't need to work anymore. They literally have no time, like the free time on their hands, and they're looking to go help people. Okay, so they go and they're going to go create a course for $2,000. People are like, $2,000? Like, that's way too expensive. It doesn't even cost you that much to deliver the content. It's a scam. Now, I want you to think about it a little differently for a second. Would you rather, in terms of your education, right? Think about education versus school, have gotten an education from somebody who has actually done what you are trying to achieve, has been successful in it, or would you rather go to a college where they're being taught by someone who, chances are, has not done what you want to learn from them? Probably is teaching outdated, old information that doesn't work anymore. It doesn't work anymore. So the most important thing is to realize that you are responsible for your own life. You are responsible for your life. You are responsible for your education. Jim Rohn said that if you, and granted, he said this 30 years ago. I don't even know if it's true anymore. But he said that an education will get you a living. Right, self-education, right? School education will earn you a living. Self-education will earn you a fortune. And I even think that school education won't even earn you a living anymore, for the most part. So the most important thing you can go out there, actually, honestly, go out and it'd be much better to go spend $4,000, $6,000, $10,000 on real world courses of people who've actually done it, becoming well-rounded, educated person. And go and do that, than it would be to go to a college where you'll learn nothing. So that's my advice. If you like videos like this, subscribe below, and I will continue, hopefully give you very useful content on life, business, how to become successful, and to kind of uncover the lies that society is continuing to feed us, and understand how you can become successful in life.